My name is Eric W. Best Jr., and I'm from South Jersey. Well, I came to Oakwood because, first of all, I was in a public school all my life, and I always wanted that spiritual aspect. I wanted to have friends that I can, chill with on the weekend. So, a few of my family members went to Oakwood, and just hearing about the school and going to alumni weekend, I said, this is the school. I know, this is where I should be to sing and just to have fun and experience that Christian fellowship. Before I came to Oakwood, it was Allegheny East Conference and a camp meeting. And I talked to my cousin. I said, I want a story. I want to know my purpose. I want God to, use me. So in October, I get a call from my mom and my dad that my brother dies. And it's devastating. And I go back home from the funeral and I'm like, no, I don't want to go back to school. I don't really like school. I'll just stay home. But somehow I end up back here. I make it through. And through the whole time, my freshman year, my sophomore year, I'm going through depression, but I'm seeking God at the same time. I'm like, God, you're the only person I can call on. I like talking to people, but they're not giving me the answer I need. So I'm looking for the answer in you. And I actually kind of relate this story to where God causes Moses to take off his sandals, in the presence of God. He's up there in the mountains. It's uncomfortable. So sometimes God calls us to be uncomfortable in his presence. And that's what I was. My brother's death. So I'm very uncomfortable. But seeking God and, crying him in the hour, but singing the hymns and just praying to God, really, I saw his face. And in that, I found comfort and joy that nothing in the world could bring you. So literally just being weak and allowing God to be my strength in the time of sorrow and depression, he's only to bring me through that. Just having friends that can you rely on and just knowing your teachers as well, all the professors in the chemistry department have been a blessing to me. Dr. Rim, Dr. Rendatunga, Dr. Lahing, Miss Jackson. Going through Oakwood, you learn how to have endurance and to maintain what you have. For me as a chemistry major, we're in the lab with instruments that, aren't always the top of the line, but we learn how to work with them. When we graduate from this school and go to our other, facilities, we already know how to struggle and we already have that perseverance. We have the grit to maintain, when other people learn how to persevere through our struggles and our shortcomings. So when I graduate from Oakwood, I plan on working for the USGS, Department of Interior, for the Geological Survey. My dad he was a chemistry major as well, and he works for the Department of Interior. So I want to be an environmental scientist, and at that I want to be a hydrologist, which study water. So going to wells and springs and just taking samples, taking it back to the lab, and just having them tested. One word to sum up Oakwood, it'll be a journey. That's the word. It's a journey. I say it's a journey because, sometimes you might fall short or you come here expecting to graduate in 4 years. But in that journey, you're going to have some trials and some tribulations. It might be with friends, it might be with death in the family, it might be with academics itself, but you're going to have something that you need to draw closer to God with. And, while you're going along your first year and second year and third year, you're growing. You are going to grow in some way or another. By the time you reach the finish line, which is graduation, you look back over your 4 years, over your journey, and like, wow, I see how I've grown tremendously, and that's nothing but the grace of God and the glory to him. I am Eric Best, and this is my Oakwood story.